All right. Hello, everybody. My name is Benton. I'm a first-year PhD student at Stanford, and the following measurement study is joint work with Alan and Zakir. So the following figure, I'm sure, is familiar to most of you at Mozilla and probably most of you in this room. The adoption rates of HTTPS have dramatically improved over the past few years. We've seen the percentage of sites that are loaded over HTTPS in Firefox about double. Obviously, a key factor driving this figure is that more servers now support HTTPS. And a key barrier to upgrading your site from just HTTP to HTTPS is that you need to obtain a certificate from a trusted CA. So a natural question here is, if the rate of HTTPS adoption is increasing, where are these new websites getting their certificates? So in this measurement study we started out with just this question. So in this next figure, I'd just like to show in the past few years over the Alexa top million sites that support HTTPS, which CAs are they obtaining their certificates from? So if you ignore everything but this red CA at the top, you'll notice that the numbers are about the same, at least for the Alexa top million, staying at about 400,000 sites. The question then is, what is this new CA in the red that has this massive growth? And this is Let's Encrypt, which I'd assume many of you are familiar with, but this is a CA that their founding principles are that certificates should be free of cost to users and easy to configure, and the CA itself is highly automated. So you can see here, just in the past few years, we've already reached that Let's Encrypt is supporting about 35% of websites that use HTTPS in the Alexa top million. But if you zoom out beyond just these top sites, the number grows even larger. It's phenomenal. We found that about 58% of all domains that are live and use HTTPS are now serving Let's Encrypt certificates. This 58%, this is like 120 million or so domains, and this is back in January when we ran these measurements, so this number has surely increased from then. So a natural question then is, okay, so which half of the internet, what is this 58% of domains that are using Let's Encrypt? Are we talking small and obscure websites? Or is this evenly distributed? How does this compare to the average other CA? So in this next CDF that I'd like to show you, we answer that question. So in our active measurement study, we found that as far as autonomous system distribution and effective TLD distribution, Let's Encrypt about matches other CAs. With the dotted lines in these figures, you can see the distribution of fully qualified domain names that are using Let's Encrypt certificates across autonomous systems. And you can see the green and red dotted lines are about similar between Let's Encrypt and other CAs. The same is also true for the solid lines for effective TLDs. So for .com, .net, .org, different country codes, the adoption rates are about equal between Let's Encrypt and all other CAs. So this chart just shows that for all intents and purposes, Let's Encrypt acts as any other CA at this point. They're not segmented to just one part of the market. I just want to zoom in a bit specifically on the largest autonomous systems. We found when we looked at the distribution of IP addresses that are serving Let's Encrypt certificates across the largest autonomous systems, we see two distinct styles of autonomous system that seem to be serving Let's Encrypt certificates. You can see in the orange, blue, and purple groups on the far left, we have automatic provisioning services like Wix and Squarespace, where you have essentially like WYSIWYG editors for deploying websites. It's fantastic to see that these services are using Let's Encrypt to deploy services over HTTPS for users who maybe just want to get a website up quickly and might not be technically savvy. On the other side, we see with these longer tails, services like Google and Amazon, where maybe users are more likely to configure their sites on their own, and they're still using Let's Encrypt in large numbers. So back to that first question of where are these new sites coming from that are using Let's Encrypt, we then looked at the dynamics of where these customers are coming from. Are they coming from, are the certificates that they're using on Let's Encrypt, is this the first certificate they've ever used? Did they come from another CA? Where are these customers moving from? So over 5 time periods in the past few years, we actually charted out where these customers are moving from. It's great to see that there are a large number, I should say this is over about 150,000 sites that have been in the Alexa top million over the last 4 years. We can see that most have moved from Komodo and not using TLS at all. Again, a great driving factor in seeing that there is further adoption in Let's Encrypt. The full paper is to be announced. Again, I'm Benton. I'm happy to take any questions now.